It's 1:54 p.m. in Los Angeles on Friday, the 11th of May, 2012. It's 4:53 p.m. in Toronto, Canada. And I'm Mark Strassman, reporter with Utopia News. I'm about to talk to Michael Nicula, who is the founder of the Online Party of Canada. Welcome to Utopia News.
Thank you for having me.
What have you done politically before founding the Online Party of Canada?
I was active in politics in my native country of Romania back in the 90s. I worked in the youth political organizations, and then since 1994 I haven't done anything. I moved to Canada in 1997. And it took me a while to get to understand the political system here, and then I came up with this idea of having an online party. It's actually not my idea. I'm not going to take credit for it completely, because actually online parties and direct democracies through internet voting has been in place for quite some time, and there are some countries in the world where online party, direct democracy, political organizations are actually represented in their parliaments.
Is online voting part of the platform of the Online Party of Canada?
Yes, definitely. It's actually the main premise of the party. We want to move all voting online. That will give people flexibility. They can vote at any time. They don't have to be at a certain time, certain date somewhere. And secondly, the online voting provides an opportunity for real-time audits. So basically, you can see your vote at any time. If you want to be private, you can hide your name under a certain code that only you know. And if you want to be public, you can put your name beside it. But the point is, if you see 10,000 votes on the yes column, you're going to see your vote in that column counted for. So there are two aspects, two main benefits. One is, as I said, you can vote at any time, and you can go back and change your mind at any time. So it's not like it is today, every 4 years or 5 years or whenever they decide to ask you for your opinion. And so you can basically change your mind after a week, a month, or a year. If you don't like what you voted, you can go back and change.
Do you have technology to do this now?
Yes. The website www.onlineparty.ca does that right now.
What about people who don't have internet connectivity?
People who don't have internet connectivity, they still have an option to do this by mail. So we can send to them the issues, a list of issues first, because people may not want to discuss, comment, vote on every issue. So we send them a list of all the issues that are posted, and then they send us back which issue they want the details for. So we send them just the headlines. They send back, okay, I want information about this 5 issues. We send them the information, and they send the vote and the comments back. So then we have somebody updating that information, and we also have to send them a report so they can see their votes and comments posted. It's not easy, it's not cost effective, but we have to give every Canadian that has the right to vote an opportunity to do so, obviously. And we're lucky that in Canada the computer literacy is very high. Over 80% of Canadians have access to internet somehow, at home or through a library.
Why does Canada need another political party?
Online Party of Canada is not actually a political. It's not just another political party. There are 19 registered already. This is a new political system. So this is basically only the second political system in Canada. All 19 parties that are right now registered, they all use the same political system, which is traditional elections every 4 years, voting, vote person, not an issue. The old concept. Online Party of Canada brings a new concept. So instead of voting on a on a party or on a platform or an individual, and then have that entity represent you in an imperfect way, without a mechanism to control them or holding them responsible in any way, shape, or form. That's the current system we have today. Online Party of Canada brings a new system where you, the voter, you vote on issue by issue, and the elected officials, they become managers, they become executives. They take the outcome of the vote and they implement it. They don't have the right to overrule what the public decided.
Okay. Why does the existence and expansion and ubiquity of the internet call for a politics that reflects that reality?
Yeah, that's very interesting. The fact that the internet has penetrated pretty much every aspect of our life. We do banking, we do commerce, we do education, in social networking. We do pretty much everything on the internet. But when you look at the political system, especially in Canada, not as much in the U.S., but in U.S. as well, if you just look at the images you get from those bodies, the Congress or the Parliament, they look like the same way they looked 100 years ago. Especially in Canada, they even wear those costumes, those funny costumes that are so outdated. It's ridiculous. So that is just an expression of the fact that internet has not penetrated the political system at all, and I think I know why that is because the political establishment is actually afraid of internet, and they try everything they can to block the internet from accessing the political system, because they lose control. If we put politics internet in politics today, we can wipe out the whole establishment. We don't need them anymore. They're very useful now because they hold the power of representation. So we need them because they represent us. But if we don't need them to represent us anymore, if we can represent our own opinions and votes through the internet, their existence has no reason anymore. They can all go get a different job because they're not needed anymore. So that's what they are afraid of. And if you look in recent news, maybe last 3-4 months, there's a very clear attempt by the U.S. political establishment mostly, but supported by all political establishments all over the world, is to control the internet. They put in those bills to control the internet because they are afraid of it. That's the reality. It changes the game completely. Internet, that is.
Okay, so it changes the game and it puts them out of power. People don't like to give up power. What's your strategy for arranging for this transformation?
So what the establishment does right now, first of all, they put in those bills in every modern country. There's this bill, the access of the internet regulation. I forgot what the name is. It has a different name in every country, but it's pretty much the same, and it is quarterbacked by the U.S. government. And basically, what they want to do is they want to have control over the ISPs, the internet service providers. So that way they can squeeze the internet access and limit the political activity on the internet. To me, that is a signal that they're actually afraid of it, and they should, because the way I see it from here is that once internet has fully penetrated the political system, all these politicians that you've been used to, they're politicians in the U.S. Senate that they've been in power for 30-something years. Richard Lugar from Indiana just lost his seat after 35 years in power. So that is, being a politician is not a job. These people should not build a career on being representing people in politically. This is not the way it should be. You should have your turn. You should get 4 or 5 years term and then move along. Let somebody else represent. go get a real job. To me, the politicians, the career politicians, are we shouldn't have those people.
Okay, what did you have to do to become a registered party in Canada?
Well, to become a registered party, you have to collect 250 membership forms, which a form contains the name, address, date of birth, and signature and date of the electors. It's an outdated process stemming from decades ago, which actually contravenes existing legislation, privacy laws actually. I shouldn't be able or in the position as a non-existent organization right now that I am to go and ask you, Canadian citizen, to give me on a piece of paper your name, address, and date of birth. That's private information, right?
Right.
So people are reluctant to give it to me. So I've actually struggled to get people to give me this piece of paper because they say, well, first of all, you are an online party. I signed up online. What do you want from me? I have over 1,000 people who signed up online, but only 130 of them actually signed the form. And that's the reason. They say, well, what kind of processes you're asking me for my private information on a piece of paper? That contravenes the privacy laws, right? So anyway, so that's the process. Unfortunately, I can't change the process. I have to get into the parliament, then I can change the process. That's the irony of it. So I have to comply, basically. I managed to get, after almost 18 months, I managed to get 260 membership forms. So after that, the process is pretty simple from now on. I only have to hold a meeting and appoint party officers, a party leader, and get all this paperwork in a package and send it to Ottawa.
So what's the timetable for your being recognized as a party?
So end of next week, I'll have the package delivered to Elections Canada. They will go through a verification process that is also very outdated. They're going to send a mail to all these people and wait for their response. I think they will try to cross-reference people who have provided full information, address and date of birth, through the Register of Electors, and if they check in, then they will skip the verification by mail process. So I expect maybe a 2 to 4 weeks turnaround from Elections Canada.
Okay, when will you start to contest elections after that?
So the next regular elections in Canada are scheduled for 2015. 4 years from last year's election, but we will contest any by-election that will take place between now and 2015. So whenever there's a by-election, an MP being replaced, we will participate, and also we will register in any provincial or local election. So we're not only a federal party, but we're provincial and local as well.
What are your goals for the party, short-term, medium term, and long-term?
Short term, we want to get recognition. We want to get Canadians used to the idea of running the political business on the internet. Many people are still have this idea of from the 90s that the internet is not safe. However, they still do banking on the internet. They file their taxes through the internet. They use the internet for everything else. For some reason, people think that internet is unsafe for political business. Anyway, so we'll try to educate people. We'll try to get people to understand that it is actually safe. I would say it's even safer than the traditional political process, which, counting those ballots, hanging chads and pregnant chads, that doesn't sound very clean to me either. So I don't think online voting is it's unsafe. Actually, in Canada, online voting has been in place for a decade. I just found out actually that people have been voting online, not at federal level, on local level, for 10 years, and there have been no incidents whatsoever.
Where was this voting?
Local voting, municipalities, many municipalities across Canada. There's a show, the Dash show that I had with William Kelleher, who's a PhD, and he promotes online voting, and we've talked about this. But yeah, it's been in place. I can provide to you information that I can Google up.
Okay.
What exactly municipalities in.
Make the case about why Canadians should switch over to the online Party of Canada.
Okay, first of all, we give the Canadians a chance to vote continuously, not only from time to time. We give them a chance to change their mind, so they're not stuck with a bad decision for 4 years if they think they made a mistake, and they don't have to be at a certain point in time somewhere, sit in line at some church or school and go through that outdated process. So they can go in the safety of their home, they can go online and vote. Secondly, we will give them an opportunity to vote issue by issue. I am liberal when it comes to certain issues. I am conservative when it comes to other issues. Why should I have to choose? Why should I have to compromise and pick, what's the best of the two? I support many of the things that the Conservative Party does right now in Canada, but I oppose other things they do, and it's very hard to compromise between these two. So what I offer to Canadians is a place where they can go issue by issue, and they can be liberals in certain issues, and they can be conservative in other issues. And the third important thing that we offer to Canadians is accountability and competence. So in order to become a candidate, to have an office as supported by online party, you have to provide your credentials. So we're not trying to be elitist here. Anybody can be a candidate and represent OPC, but you have to go through a training. We can't send to Ottawa or to a provincial or federal or local government body somebody who does not know how politics work. And accountability, so when you sign up to be a candidate, you have to sign a document called Accountability Act, which means if you lose your support, so basically in order to get the position, you have to gather majority support from the voters in your district. If you lose that support, you're out. So if you have 60% support today and you go to Ottawa, and then when you get there you start doing stupid things and you start voting on bills against to what people have voted on the internet, on the website, then you're out. So we have that document. It's a breakthrough. We hired a Bay Street lawyer in Toronto to craft this document, which is the first document that I know of in Canada, US, or elsewhere that actually holds a politician accountable. So you're not safe. If you were elected as an MP and you are now in Ottawa, you're not safe. Like the U.S. President George Bush, after 6 years in the office, his popularity, his support was down to 27%. In the OPC world, he would be out.
Okay. Talk about whether there's a relationship between the OPC and the pirate parties around the world. There's a conceptual link. I've met with the leader of the Pirate Party in Canada personally at some events in Toronto, and some of their members, the Pirate Party executive team, they're actually members of the Online Party of Canada. So we share I would say 90% of their objectives and vision, just simply because what they're proposing is actually common sense. So what you will find on the Online Party of Canada's website, common sense is supported by a majority, and that's the way it should be. And it just happens to be that the Pirate Party supports common sense positions on issues, especially in the internet era. I find that the Pirate Party is actually their political spectrum is quite narrow. It's focused on the internet. They are trying to diversify now, so I would say they will be
at some point, if they keep diversifying, they will match our objective. But they're doing things differently, so they don't have this. They're missing basically the governing principles that online party is built on, which is accountability and competence, voting on issues, not on politicians and parties. These two fundamentals are not there. So in that sense, they're a traditional party when it comes to the internal organization. We do share their issues, their objectives, and if you look on our website, we borrow those issues from the private party. We let our voters to comment and vote on those issues, and the vote is actually very similar. So which means that basically it matches the independent polls as well.
Now the pirates in Germany use something called liquid feedback for deciding internal issues and voting and discussing and deciding on issues. You used essentially a simpler system that just lets people vote on the issues, yes or no. Are you familiar with the liquid feedback software, and do you think you might adopt it, or are you going to stay with what you've got?
Liquid feedback. Somebody explained it to me. I have not tested it myself. I don't have access to it. But the concept. So it is actually an internal tool. Online Party of Canada. The voting mechanism is not internal. You can vote. Even non-Canadians can vote on our tool. So I really don't see any flaws in the voting mechanisms that we put together. I'm very proud of it, actually, and I don't see any reason to change. If somebody invents a better wheel, we'll adopt it for sure. But I don't see at this point that the liquid feedback. It's a catchy name. It sounds nice. I like it. But I think Online Party of Canada has something superior to that.
Okay. Now, with everyone using the internet and particularly social media for fundraising and voter outreach, how will your campaigns differ from those of the other parties?
So those campaigns are temporal. They have a start and an end. On Online Party of Canada, every issue that we post is there to stay. For example, newspaper polls. Washington Post does that, and I'm there frequently. Globe and Mail does that. You go there, you vote. First of all, they claim it's not a scientific poll, and it's not. It's not secure. There's no way you can control that only one person has one vote and so on. And the results go nowhere. They just show the fact that people think a certain way. Actually, their readers think one way. It's not binding. You can't do a government policy based on that. For campaigns, for petitions, a petition, again, it's a temporal thing. We've had experience. I quote this experience quite often. There was a petition against a measure that the telecom lobby in Canada was trying to do to limit people's access to the internet. It's called the CRTC bill. It was basically a blatant attempt by the major telecom giants Rogers and Bell to limit people's access to the internet and stem competition from other internet providers. So there was a petition that came up from openmedia.ca. It was signed by 500,000 people. So it spread like wildfire. So it was overly successful. It determined the federal government to step in and block that measure. And then people were satisfied and they called it a victory. But what happened in reality was the CRTC, the Canadian Radio Telecom Commission, they did not cancel that bill. They just put it on hold, and they kept it on hold until the public uproar was suppressed. People forgot about it. And then they came back with the same bill. They changed a little bit of it, and they put it through. And it actually became policy. And there was no second petition against it. So that shows you that the petition is good for public uproar to get people incensed, upset about something. They react to it, but then as soon as that issue is comes out of the public eye for a few months, then the government will put it through the back door, and it will actually you can't get people incensed and up in arms for the same issue twice. So that's how it works. This is how the government actually operates. As soon as they find opposition from the public, they put it on the back burner and until people forget about it. With the Online Party of Canada, nothing goes on the back burner. The issue still stays there. The vote doesn't go away. You don't have a petition or campaign that expires. It's still there. If you have an opposition to a bill, it's not going to go away after a year or after a few months.
Okay.
So that's the main difference.
Okay. How do you see the Online Party of Canada as a model for other countries?
Actually, I was contacted from 10 different countries, Europe, Australia. People are asking if they can they can purchase this model because they see the voting mechanism as very valuable. And I said, well, anytime. Well, I'm willing to share this with any other country.
Okay. Wrap up by telling us why your party speaks more soundly to the principles of democracy than previously.
Well, I would say that this concept, the direct democracy through online voting directly on issues, competence and accountability, this is I don't know, if you're ranking democratic systems, I would say this system, direct democracy through online voting, ranks first, and then there's nothing on the spots 2 through 9, and then you have democratic system like I would say the second best in theory is the direct democracy system in place in Switzerland. I don't know if you're familiar.
Somewhat, yes. They have a lot of initiatives there.
They have referendums few times a year. They collect a number of topics, of issues, and they have public consultation, and people get together and they vote. But that's voting in person. What happens if you're traveling, you can't, or you're at work? So that reduces the participation. However, the Swiss, they take it seriously, so they have large participation, but I can't see that happening in a large country like Canada. So they have that direct democracy through public referendums in person, working fine in small cantons in Switzerland, but I don't see how that would work in a large country like Canada or US. But I would say that comes as a second best. What Online Party of Canada has over the Swiss direct democracy through referendum system is the online voting at any time. There's audit that is done real time online. Everybody is an auditor. I can go and see my votes at any time. You can't have anybody claiming that, oh, my vote was not counted, I was disenfranchised, because you have access to your own votes. You can go and check them. If there's something wrong, you can go and correct them. If somebody stole your access and changed your vote, if that's even possible, hackers with political inclinations that would go steal a person's access one by one. Anyways, you can go and restore it at any time. There's no better way to. I can't think of any better way to audit and vote than online, real time, and also the fact that I allow you to go and change your vote at any time. You hear a politician saying a stupid thing, you can react within seconds. You go online and you withdraw your support from that politician, and that politician could literally be out of office in 5 minutes.
Okay.
So
right. Are you still looking to fill some of your administrative posts in the party?
I do have just based on the concept, the administrative posts, the party officials, they're just, they don't have any power. So if I'm the leader of the party, that doesn't give me a special vote. My vote counts as one, just like everybody else's. What I basically have, it's a name, a title, leader. And if I post a comment, I would say people may or may want to see what I say, but they don't have to follow what I say. Actually, if you look at the popularity on the website, my opinions are not the most popular. It looks like my views on certain issues are not the most popular, and I'm fine with it. There are people who don't have a position in the party or a rank in the party, but they resonate with most of the voters. So in this website, it's actually so it's basically the leadership. We encourage leadership by the way it should be. You have people following you if your comments, your ideas are valuable, and people find their own ideas and their own opinions in what you are describing, and then they will support you. So I think that's basically leadership 101. This is the way it should work. I am actually happy to see, I'm proud to see that my function, my title, OPC leader, does not impress people that much to, endorse me automatically as being the most influential voice in the party. So the title doesn't mean much. So the admin titles and positions, we need to fill them out because Elections Canada requires us to fill them out. Otherwise, I would go with no structure at all. I think Online Party of Canada does not need any structure at all. You throw in your hat to be a candidate for a position. The positions are prescribed by the Election Canada's system. We have 308 districts in Canada, so of course we have to create a position for each one of them. Anybody in that electoral district who they have a legal address in that district can be a candidate, and if they gather more than the majority of the support, they're elected. Nobody else can dictate. Currently what we have is the political tourism where, for example, even the Prime Minister of Canada, he is originally from Toronto, but he knew that if he tries to get a spot in the parliament in his city of Toronto, he will never get it because Toronto is liberal. So what he did is he moved on paper, he moved to Calgary. I think he bought a property there or something, where his position is safe because Calgarians are conservative, 80% or something. So that way he guarantees himself a position in the parliament. Because if he was a candidate from the city where he's coming from, he would never be in the parliament and he would never be the Prime Minister of Canada. But this way, he guarantees himself access. And you hear this from every party. I've heard this from the Conservatives and the Liberals. They get people sent to them, imposed. So there's a district, a branch of the Conservative Party in Mississauga that came to me and they were incensed the fact that their local leader was actually replaced by the order of the Prime Minister of Canada, who said, no, we want this guy to be our representative in the elections. And their local leader was actually tossed away, and they were incensed over that. So we don't allow this in Canada. In the Online Party of Canada, you have to have a legal address. You have to show us that you've been there, and you can't change your address easily.
Okay,
so
good. So
it takes some time.
All right. Why don't you wrap up by telling people how they can find your site and get involved in your process?
Thank you for that. Online Party of Canada, the website is www.onlineparty.ca. We are on Twitter at OnlinePartyCA. We are on Facebook, Online Party of Canada. We are on LinkedIn. You can Google Online Party of Canada and you will get a lot of links. So we've been in the press in Canada for quite some time, on blogs and so on. So it's quite easy.
Okay, good. So I hope we can talk again when you're contesting an election, and I look forward to talking to you again then.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity, and look forward to talking to you again.
Okay, good. Bye.
Goodbye.